Hello everyone. Today we'll be working on listening summarized spoken text. We'll be working on the different parameters of this, and the first parameter is content, which is for 2 marks. The second parameter is form, which is again for 2 marks. The third parameter is grammar, again for 2. Fourth, vocabulary, and fifth is spelling. If you combine them together, they are for 10 marks. What is content and how do you get 2 marks in content? Well, if you provide a very good summary of the text, all the relevant aspects are mentioned, you get 2. If you provide a fair summary of the text, but you miss out 1 or 2 aspects, you get 1. And if you misinterpret everything, main aspect is gone, you end up getting a 0. What is form? Well, if you write 50 to 70 words, the form is perfect, you get 2 marks. If you write less than 50, that is 40 to 49, or more than 70, that is 71 to 100, you get 1, and you get a 0 in case you write less than 40 or more than 100. Alternatively, in case you write in capitals and your writing does not contain any punctuation mark, or it consists of extremely small fragmented sentences, you end up getting a 0. What is grammar? If all these structures are correct, then you get 2. In case there are some inaccuracies in grammatical structures, you get 1. And if there is huge amount of defect in the grammar, you get a 0. Vocabulary. 2 marks for appropriate choice of words, 1 mark for slight lexical errors, but there is no hindrance in communication, and 0 for the wrong word choice, which actually deadens the way you communicate. Spellings. You get 2 when all the spellings are correct. You get 1 in case there is 1 spelling error. And you get a 0 in case there are more than 1 spelling errors. What are the tips of summarized spoken text? The first tip is you should make smart notes. You don't have to write everything. Write down only the important points. Tip number 2, make your own shortcuts. For example, instead of writing YOU, write simple U. The language that you use in chatting is the language that you should be using for shortcuts. Tip number 3, do not start writing immediately. Do not start typing immediately. Wait, understand, make notes, revise your notes, and then do it. Tip number 4, write a structured response. You cannot write an unstructured response and expect a wonderful score. It's not possible. Tip number 5, write simple sentences. Do not write sentences which are extremely long. That won't work because you have to have a punctuation mark in between. Tip number 6, do not write unnecessary information. Do not beat about the bush. Be straight to the point. Tip number 7, be mindful of the word count. Remember, there's a word counter below. You have to write between 50 to 70 words. Tip number 8, check your content. Once you write it down, you have to revise your work. Why? There's a reason. The reason is the examiner who is reading should understand the summary. It is very important. Now let us revise the tips once again. Make proper notes, include information. Next tip, 50 to 70 words. Next tip, focus on punctuation and grammatical mistake. Do not repeat information. Don't add out of the context information. Do not write less than 50 words and more than 70 words. Do not write in capitals, small sentences, and punctuation marks should be there. Do not write in bullet points. What is a template? Well, template is a set of words which can be used to minimize our time and to maximize our score. I have got 5 templates for you. You can pause the video here, read the template, They are also shown in the description box below. This is template 1. Next is template 2, template 3, template 4, and template 5. Now let's try. So I'm going to show you a conversation between two people, and you need to write a summary of that conversation. And eventually, we became interested in the structure of human social networks. Like, why do we have this structure at all? Why do humans make networks with all these ornate, reproducible patterns?
So how does it work? Like, give me an example.
So, if you can imagine, you could think about this in terms of how you arrange workplaces. For example, you might employ 1,000 engineers, and you might find that if we organize the engineers in certain ways, they are inventive and cooperative. Or we take the same engineers and organize them in a different way. You know, who's talking to whom, for example? And we find that those engineers are uninventive and uncooperative. Same human beings, different typology, different architecture of ties, completely changes the kind of group properties that these individuals evince. And many experiments that we've done have shown this. You take a group of people and you arrange them in one way, and they are healthy and innovative and cooperative and kind. Or you take the same people and you arrange them in a different way, and they are unhealthy and uncooperative and unkind. And it's that insight about how the whole comes to the greater than the sum of its parts that is, in my argument, one of the most crucial insights arising from the study of human social networks. Now, let us look at a very simple answer. Now, this is not going to get you a very good score, but you can understand how the structure is to be formed. The speaker was discussing human social networks. He talked about how when you put lots of people together, interesting dynamics happen. He used the example of 1,000 engineers and said that if you are depending on how you group them together, they will act different to each other. He suggested that understanding human social networks is an extremely important challenge. Now let us complicate it a little bit. Let's see a complex answer. The speaker was discussing human social networks. He talked about how when you group people together, interesting dynamics take place. He used the example of 1,000 engineers and said that depending on how you group them, they will act different to each other. While one group would act kindly, another would be unkind. He suggested that understanding human social networks is an extremely important challenge. Thank you so much for being with us for this video. Subscribe to our channel, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.